What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Whiskey Happens. I'm Travis Martin.
I'm Garrett Johnson. I
What's
don't
up,
know
buddy?
why we say our last names.
I
Who
don't know.
cares?
No one cares. But you know what people do care about?
What's that?
Our topic today, Weller 12. I mean, we all know Buffalo Trace goes through a very stringent process when selecting any of their bourbons. I mean, now with the benchmark lineup, it used to be like whatever wasn't good enough for BTAC or for Pappy basically trickled down to Weller, because Weller used to be a bottom shelfer. And so that's where that all kind of trickled down to. Now it's like Weller, and then it trickles down into, what are we doing with the benchmark lineup? So they definitely have a tiering system. Once again, they don't really tell you that's how they do it, but you kind of know based upon the walking through with them at the distillery, like where they store certain barrels and how they rotate them through. I mean,
Is that I didn't know that Wellers become benchmarks.
Well, no, I'm just saying what I mean is like they had a tiering system before. It's like whatever's not top shelf or doesn't make the certain, they just keep tiering them down, I feel like, because that's what they did with the Wellers. That's why they called it, it wasn't good enough for Pappy, but now then it turns into Weller. I feel like benchmark's the same way.
Oh, okay. I can see what the lateral move there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's the one thing Buffalo Trace is good at is marketing. It doesn't really matter what it's made out of, right? It's just not good enough to be what they want it to be, but they're like, we're not going to lose money on this.
Correct.
So we can still sell it, which is the genius thing about Buffalo Trace, and it works for them. As many of you, including myself, will chase their products high and low across the nation for sometimes product that's not really that great. Is that the case with this Weller 12? Let's find out.
All right.
Oh, you haven't opened yours, eh?
No, I was hoping to do it with you. You ruined that last weekend. I'm like, fine.
What's a twist top? It's not like a good cork.
This is true. And once again, why? 12-year aged bourbon is a twist top. It's just kind of funny.
But like you alluded to before, at one point, bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Instantly vanilla and caramel.
Yep.
Fruit note I really can't place. And the smallest amount of oak. But for a 12-year, that's not to be unexpected.
Yeah, and the color's great. I mean, if you compare this one to the antique, the color is so vastly different, in my opinion. It's much darker. You get that, more dark hue to the bourbon compared to the antique, which I think is a little bit lighter looking. All right.
Let's get into the taste.
Yeah.
I mean, if this doesn't coat, I don't know what does. It's very buttery instantly. The fruit note comes through, and then tons of oak. I don't even know if saying oaky is an understatement or not, but
it's interesting. I get a tangerine taste. I don't know if that's because I had some orange juice earlier in the day. It wasn't like just recently, but I'm getting like a tangerine, like a citrusy note with this.
Mm-hmm.
Also interesting that Weller 12 is 90 proof. You've got antique that's 107 proof, and for a 12-year-old bourbon, that's kind of a little bit lower on the proof side, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's because it's just a 12-year-old special reserve. Special reserve is 90 proof, so it's the same product, just 12 years old.
Good point.
Which I recently just learned that special reserve was either 86 proof or 88 proof originally.
Okay.
And then it got bumped up to what we know today.
I've never been a huge fan of the special reserve. I've drank it, but it never knocked my socks off. This is really great. I really like this. And I've had it before. It's just, this is my first bottle of me actually owning it. But I've had it at other when I've gone out. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes through on the finish of a more caramel pecan. The sweetness is there. The heat ramps up a little, but like Travis said, it's only 90 proof, so it's enough to let you know you got something from Kentucky, but not enough to be like, I'm going to stop drinking this.
Well, the beauty part is, like we keep talking about, it's 12-year age, so it does linger on the palate a little bit more, and it's definitely something that you can sip on. And I would say if you have this and Special Reserve, I would drink this all day long, comparatively speaking, but once again, harder to find. But still, even when you find it, it's in the $40 price range. I mean, so if you can get it at MSRP, which I got mine at MSRP, I won it in a lottery drawing.
We had this conversation Friday, and you kind of just mentioned it now. Of Weller 12 retails cheaper than 107.
Yeah,
and cheaper than full proof. I have no clue what single barrel retails for because I've never seen it in retail in my life. And I think it's interesting that the 12-year is cheaper than the 107, which 107, granted, it's higher proof, so they produce less of it, just naturally less water added to it. So it makes sense that they want to recoup their money a little.
Yep.
However, the reason I bring this up is that for me, all day, when it comes to the Weller lineup, I've never had CYPB. Again, great marketing. And the fact that it is a Weller product isn't necessarily what Buffalo Trace intended. They asked us, fans, drinkers, where in the warehouse, what mash bill do you prefer? All these little things, if you guys remember back in the day. And then that determined that it would be a Weller. It could have been a Sazerac. It could have been a Buffalo Trace. It could have been anything. It just happened to be where they keep this particular high floor Weller.
Mm-hmm.
Again, still haven't had it, so I don't know if it's worth it or if it was just great marketing. But when it comes down to the Weller lineup, I'm going to be a 107 and a full proof person all day. 12 is good. And if you've never had it, by all means, go for it. But do I think I would go out of my way to get another bottle? Probably not. I think, and it could just because of the proof, 107 and 114 are great proofs to explore the Weller lineup at.
Yeah.
And it could just be me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know we're going to dive a little bit more into this in our podcast later. So I don't want to go too much into it, but I would get this again over and over again at retail. Would I pay more than retail for it? No, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. Like I've almost finished my glass and I really like it and I'm going to enjoy it. But I have to agree with you on most of those points that the 107 still is top dog to me because it doesn't drink like 107 proof, but it's really amazing. Now, granted, like you said, I haven't had the CYPB and I've never had the single barrel, but out of the ones I've had, let me put it that way.
All right, I can deal with that. So when it comes down to it, how are you ranking this? Neat, rocks, Coke.
I'm still ranking it neat. I would prefer this over a lot of the other stuff I've got back there on a regular basis. So I'll still say neat.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you on neat. At 90 proof, I feel like rocks don't get lost. And it's not bad. I know I said that I don't prefer it. However, is it sweet, rich, buttery? Yes. Pecan on the end. It's not bad. And if I get a Pappy later, happy to compare. But for me, it's definitely neat just because of the proof.
Awesome. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. So whether you like it neat, on the rocks, or in a Coke, whiskey happens. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.